Hello, I'm back, and here is another installment of Back in the Day. This one was viewer requested, so stay tuned to the end where I'll be thanking the viewer who requested this. Okay then, let's get this party started. Okay then, and we're back. So here we go. This Back in the Day focuses on game difficulty and how it's kind of changed a bit now from back in the day. Now, the roots of the game difficulty going from being obscenely high from way back in the day to just right to now a lot of games are just too damn easy. They're just too damn easy. And I think that this is a hallmark of shoddy game design. Okay, and I'll tell you what I mean. Okay, if you play a game like Super Mario World for the SNES, or even the original Super Mario Brothers, or Super Mario Land on the Super Mario Brothers on the NES, everything you need to know you learn from playing the game, right? Like, there's no tutorials for it. You know, like, you learn everything from experimentation and observation, right? Everything. And that was really nice. Now, you had a lot of games on the NES that were just really difficult and almost overly difficult. And that's because a lot of them were arcade ports. And, I mean, you have to remember that, like, a lot of arcade games had 4, 6, 7, 8 stages. And, I mean, you're paying $50 for a game. Back then, $50 was more because inflation and all that other stuff. You're paying that much for a game, and you're getting a game that basically has some incredibly incredibly high difficulty. But if the difficulty wasn't there, it would be like a 30-40 minute game, and you paid $50 for it, or your parents paid $50 for it if you're in my age group. And that's just, I mean, it was not a very good model. Okay, case in point, let's look at a lot of the Atari games were like this. Like, they were arcade ports, and you know, that's just how it was. And you know, a lot of games, you know, we hit that sweet spot in the SNES towards the end of the NES into the SNES stage from a lot of Japanese developers. Like, Konami's games were difficult, but not impossible. Okay, like, when you died, it was your fault. Okay, you did something wrong. You know, Nintendo games, you could tell a Miyamoto game because everything you needed to know you learned in the first stage, right? You can tell a Miyamoto game. It's very, you learn as you go. They're very well designed games. You can tell people have been trained by Miyamoto because Super Mario 3D World made by people who were trained by Miyamoto, and yet everything you need to know about Super Mario 3D World you learn just from playing the game. Like the first level, you learn about the cat suit. Oh, I can climb walls. Oh shit. You know, I can butt stomp to break things. I'm a huge Mario dude. I can butt stomp. My butt stomp has shockwaves that hit other shit too. I mean, you really learn everything you need to know, or at least the basics of what you need to know. Advanced stuff you learn later on. You go through a stage like, I don't think I can do that early on, but then you figure it out. It's like, hey, I think I can figure this out. And that's when you, I mean, you know, there are very few games that are that type of that are that well developed nowadays. Okay, what we get now is a lot of tutorials where they tell you everything. Press A to open the door. Click on this in order to do this action. Hold R and Z. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. It's a really big pain in the ass. But there is hope. Okay? Culminating with a lot of games that people like today, like Call of Duty, where they basically tell you to follow some asshole, some CP character, some CPU, some NPC that the computer controls, and that's how you figure out where to go in the single player missions, which is just lazy game design. Okay, I mean, basically the whole purpose behind these actions is that we have lazy ass game design. That's what it is. Okay, it boils down to lazy ass game design. People who don't want to actually make a well-designed game, so they're like, well, I'm going to show you what you have to do, because they assume that the gamers are stupid. I mean, personally, I like games where you figure out things. Like, I didn't know in Super Mario 3D World that you could press the crouch button while gathering up speed and the attack button, and you do like a tumble, right? I didn't know that. I figured it out one day. I was like, how you did it? Wait a second. And I figured it out. If you do it while you're wearing the cat suit, you'll do like a grind slash, I guess would be the term for it. It's a very useful attack if you're wearing the cat suit. If you're not, you might kill yourself if you try to do that against the enemy. If you could use it as an attack against enemies, it'd be perfect. But, I mean, still, pretty great damn game. And I figured it out just from, it's not in the manual, I don't think. Of course, I don't really read the manual for Mario games anymore. I like the pictures, but I don't really read the manuals anymore. Cause damn you, Nintendo, start releasing manuals again. Make a special edition with the manual with artwork and shit. I'd buy that. But anyway, yes, they've made, and part of the reason difficulty has gone up is because first, as I said, lazy development, lazy developers. Two, they got rid of manuals, so lazy developers, like, they can't be like, well, just it's in the manual. Now they have to show you everything because we're stupid. We're just the gamer. Even if you've played like 3 or 4 iterations of this same game and it hasn't changed dramatically, they have to show you how to do everything. Which culminates with my final point about the difficulty settings. Difficulty, part of it is subjective, okay? Like games that might be difficult for some people, like Dragon Age Origins. It's an RPG. I'm good at RPGs, so once you figure out the system, grind a little bit, become powerful enough, they get kind of easy. Whereas I am not good at most multiplayer shooters. Modern multiplayer shooters. Give me GoldenEye, I'll kick your ass. Borderlands, well, Borderlands doesn't really have versus multiplayer, but not traditionally. I can kind of roll with that, but I don't do well in modern multiplayer games. Get my ass kicked in Halo, Call of Duty, Battlefield. I'll get my ass kicked every time. So anyway, which leads to my final point. To my conclusion of this part of our back in the day. We have lazy developers, the loss of manuals, and just a general people not trusting the gamer when it comes to these types of things. But as I said earlier, there is hope, and I'll get to it after the break. Okay, so we're back. Basically, there is hope for difficulty in games. I'm not saying that games have to be balls to the wall difficult unless you like those types of games. And we have games like that for people. They're called Dark Souls. We have games for people who like really difficult games. They're called hacks and Dark Souls. Like, I was playing a Super Mario World hack that was basically balls to the wall hard. I mean, like, this shit was intense. I'm talking like, ugh. I'm talking like evil poison mushrooms. I'm talking piranha plants that spit like streams of fire. I'm talking evil blocks that if you touch them, you die instantly. But this was made as a challenge, okay? Generally speaking, the difficulty in a game should be a gentle curve, but by the climax portion where you're really like, things are starting, it should be a gentle escalation. By the time you get to the climax portion where you're facing the bosses and everything, the difficulty should be slightly, at least equal to or slightly above your skill level, so that you feel like you're challenged, so that when you finally defeat the enemy or the bosses or the challenge, you get a form of resolution and satisfaction from it. As a matter of fact, for people who develop video games or psychologists or business majors, you have to take a course called game theory. And the game theory is basically based upon the concept that when you design a challenge, it has to be, it can't be too easy. And that's what we have in a lot of games. It's like, that's it? This is it? This is the, and I'll admit, I play a lot of games on easy because I just want to get into it. And then if I find it's too easy, then I'll kick it up to normal. If normal's still too easy, hard, like the first time I played Mass Effect 2, I played it on easy mode because I just wanted to get through the story. The second time, I played it on hard because, once you go through one time and you level up your characters enough, the second time it's like, I can kick everyone's ass. Even on hard, it's a little easy. But that's just how it is. So that culminates with my final point. The hope. There is hope. There is hope for the video game industry. We're seeing a lot of indies coming out with games and smaller studios coming out with games that have difficulty. Some difficulty to them, not like, sadistic difficulty, not like people who make games that are just so friggin' hard they're impossible, but where you actually feel like you're mastering, as you gain new skills in the game, you feel like you're mastering something, and it's not just, oh, we want a winner is you. And we're seeing this in various cycles, And there's always Atlas RPGs. That shit is balls to the walls. I have Shin Megami Tensei 4. I have beaten that game 3 times now, and like the first 2 times I had to put it on very easy because I was getting my ass kicked in easy. The second time I put it on normal because there's a new game plus where you can carry over your summons and shit. So yeah. So there's hope. There's hope. You just have to be a little bit more selective in how things are being made and developed. But that's just how it is. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, remember, please rate, share, comment, and subscribe. I should have some more videos coming out today because snowed in. Well, I'm not snowed in, but everything is closed down, so I'm not doing anything. So stay tuned for. I'll be uploading a video. Later on today, where I'll be discussing the must-have modern RPGs. These are, when I say modern, I mean RPGs from GameCube, PS2 onward. I'm not including the Xbox because screw Microsoft. But yeah, modern RPGs, okay, that you must own. So stay tuned for that. Have a nice day.